Hello, this is CORESafety TV for February 2019, brought to you directly from the National Mining Association. There's a new training software out that you may be interested in. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health, NIOSH, just released the beta version last week. It's called Examiner, and it's designed to allow mine workers to search for hazards by performing a virtual workplace examination. Your goal is to find as many hazards as possible. This is an interactive PC-based application. It comes with more than 30 preloaded images of scenes from 4 locations at a stone surface mine: in the pit, at the plant, in the shop, and along roadways. Trainers can also upload their own panoramic images. You can use it during Part 46 annual refresher training, quarterly training meetings, or pre-shift toolbox talks. The software is free to try out, and the easiest way to find it is to just do a Google search for CDC Mining Product Examiner. It's on the Centers for Disease Control website under NIOSH Mining Tools and Publications. Hazard detection is challenging in the mining industry. A miner has to be able to identify a hazard, but then also recognize the risk associated with it, so that he or she can decide how to mitigate the risk and perform the task safely. And hazards aren't always obvious either, especially if they are occupational health hazards. Watch this quick video nugget about CORESafety's Module number 13. CORESafety's Module number 13 focuses on occupational health. Occupational health issues deal specifically with illness and disease. Safety issues include accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Occupational health should be treated on par with worker safety. Companies should conduct periodic exposure assessment when employees face potential overexposure to hazards or when a professional industrial hygienist says to do so. An exposure assessment program determines if you're complying with regulatory requirements for exposure monitoring and whether there's a need for exposure controls and follow-up medical monitoring. Module number 13 teaches how to treat health on par with safety by anticipating, recognizing, evaluating, and controlling occupational health hazards leading to illness, and applying appropriate new technologies with an emphasis on exposure assessment and medical surveillance. Now we have some important tips about what you just learned in Module 13. Take a look at what we call the Core 4. Tip number 1. Conduct periodic exposure assessments when employees face potential exposure to hazards such as noise, dust, welding fumes, radiation, and chemicals. Tip number 2. Be sure you're in compliance with regulatory requirements for exposure monitoring. Tip number 3. Determine the degree of control necessary to address occupational health hazards and follow up medical monitoring. And finally, tip number 4. Provide wellness education for employees, including ways to improve their health risk factors both on and off the job. Occupational health hazards, very important. Now, let's start to wrap up things with a new segment that we call Rock Solid Insights. These are some thoughts and observations from mining safety leaders and experts on various topics that I think you'll find very interesting.
We have a lot of good programs or processes in place, but really what CORESafety does is it brings those together. It brings an alignment with the various pieces that you have in your health and safety program together. To say that it's difficult, it is in a way. It takes some work, but challenge is well worth the opportunity and the reward that you receive when you build that alignment and you have a better performing program.
In talking with my peers from other companies, I think where we struggle with behavior safety, that there are a lot of good programs out there that help us focus on behaviors, but with those, becomes kind of this check the box mentality. So we get a good observation system in place, and pretty soon people are just putting quotas in. Now all we're doing is filling out a sheet, a checklist, rather than really what's that key component that we need around behaviors, which is talking to people, having those discussions in the field. What I liked about the CORESafety piece is that it's not focused on this necessarily an observation process where you're checking boxes. It's focused on how do we have those conversations with our employees in the field? How do we gather feedback through surveys and other methods in order to see if what we're doing is working, and what are the people in the field seeing that really could improve safety. And I think all of that kind of gets incorporated into the CORESafety behavioral element.
Good information for sure. Special thanks to Stacy and Michael. All right, that's it for this episode. We hope that this show was helpful to you. Please remember to email us with your own ideas for safety stories. For CORESafety and the National Mining Association, I'm Nelson Duffel. We'll see you again next month. For now, be safe out there, and thank you for watching.
To share one of your safety stories, videos, or photos, email us at info@coresafetytv.org.